Finishing this series has been long overdue, but let's go ahead and do it right now. Welcome back to BG's Books. I'm Mr. BG, and today I will be doing part 3 of movies you did not know were based on books. So I did the first 2 parts of these like a month, 2 months ago probably now. And of course I said that I would be finishing off the series with part 3 that I would be getting to in the near future. But you know, I made other videos, stuff came up in life, and then I just was never able to make the 3rd video. But I changed that today with this one. So of course this is the final part in this little trilogy, I guess you could call it, of these types of videos. I know there are so many more movies that we could cover in like parts 4, 5, 6 or so on. But I feel like that part 3 is just like a nice stepping off point. I don't want to like run this series into the ground or anything. So I think part 3 will be the final video, at least for right now. And if you guys want to see more videos, then I can make more videos. But anyway, in the meantime, yes, of course, once again, we have 10 movies here that you did not know were based on books. So let's get right into them. All right, and so the first movie on this list is actually Mrs. Doubtfire. Yeah, okay, so show of hands, how many of you knew that Mrs. Doubtfire was based on a book? I certainly didn't, but I'm sure we all know of the famous 90s movie starring Robin Williams, Mrs. Doubtfire. It's about a husband who, after getting divorced from his wife, he wants to see his children really bad, so he dresses up as an elderly woman, like babysitter, nanny person, just to see his kids and stuff. And of course it's a Robin Williams movie, so you know, hijinks ensue from there. But I bet almost none of you, or at least very few of you, knew that it was based on a children's novel by Anne Fine. So yeah, it is right here, of course. And I haven't really seen the movie. I've seen parts of it, like the beginning, parts of the ending, and then like parts in the middle and stuff, but I've never seen the movie in its entirety. But after finding out that it was based on a children's novel, I may have to give it a try eventually. Anyway, so of course the Robin Williams movie is like a family comedy movie, so it's very lighthearted with a couple dirty jokes in there because that's what Robin Williams and Chris Columbus do best. But it looks like the children's novel is actually told from the perspective of the children rather than Robin Williams' character, Daniel Hillard. And it also seems to be a much darker book about like the dynamics of family and stuff and focusing on the parents' divorce a lot. I don't know, that's just what Google told me, but it seems like an interesting book. And I obviously seem to like reading children's novels, as evidenced by the Roald Dahl stuff that I've read and reviewed. So if you guys would want to see me review Mrs. Doubtfire, let me know. I would love to check that out. Coming in at the second movie on this list is Mary Poppins. Yeah, that famous Disney movie from, I think it was either the 50s or the 60s. That was based on not one book, but actually a series of 8 books. So Mary Poppins is a series of 8 children's novels written by P.L. Travers, and get this, they range all the way from 1934 to 1988, so they are definitely like some of the oldest books on this list that I think I've covered so far. And I don't really know how accurate the movie is to the books. I have not seen the movie in like so many years, and I have, of course, never have read the books. In fact, similar to Mrs. Doubtfire, I didn't know that they were even based on books until like very recently. But yeah, so anyway, Mary Poppins is based on a series of 8 children's books by P.L. Travers, published all the way from the early 30s to the late 80s. So I just thought that was incredibly interesting. And if you guys want me to check out those as well, I of course will be open to it. But yeah, I found that very interesting. Coming in at the third movie on this list is 101 Dalmatians. Yes, again, this was based on a children's book. So 101 Dalmatians was based on the children's novel, surprise, surprise, called The 101 Dalmatians instead of 101 Dalmatians. Slight name change there, but there you go. And it was written by, I believe their name is Dodie Smith, and it was published in 1956. And of course, it became the very famous cartoon made by Disney in 1961, and then it was made into a live-action movie in 1996 with like Glenn Close and all that. And then more recently, we had the Emma Stone-led Cruella movie, which was like a prequel to that. So I'm sure that everyone is aware of 101 Dalmatians by now. But so similar to the Mary Poppins one, I have seen either the cartoon movie or the live action movie, or maybe both, many, many years ago. And then I have never read the book because, of course, I just recently found out it was a book. But so I would be really interested in checking that out because 101 Dalmatians is definitely one of the more classic Disney films. I'm even hearing that the 1996 live action movie is kind of has its own cult following as well. But anyway, it seems that a couple differences from the Disney movie is that in the book, Cruella de Vil has a husband instead of just being on her own with her henchmen, and the mother dog's name is, I think, Missy or Mrs. versus Perdita, which was in the film. And so I just thought that was very interesting. So yeah, apparently 101 Dalmatians is also based on a book. Very interesting. Coming in at number 4, I believe, on this list is Mean Girls. So you're probably thinking, what, Mean Girls? That really fun high school comedy movie from 2004 was based on a book? And I say, yes, it was, surprisingly. But it was not based on a novel like a lot of the other movies in this list were. It was actually based on a handbook called Queen Bees and Wannabes by Rosalind Wiseman. And basically this one is just kind of a guide on like girls in high school and their adolescence and bullying and all the challenges of high school and stuff. So it's not a novel like most of the rest of these will be, but it's more of a guidebook on, probably for parents, on how to deal with a girl that is in high school and all the high school challenges that come with that. So of course I have never read the book, but I did actually watch the movie. The movie is really good. It is iconic for a reason. I love the gym teacher that says if you do it, you get pregnant and die. I just love that scene because that's so random. I quote that all the time. Anyway, but so Mean Girls isn't based on a novel, but it's based on a guidebook about how to survive high school as an adolescent girl. And so, while that's definitely not my audience, or while that doesn't apply to me, I definitely think that it could have been helpful to girls back when it was first published, and possibly even today, depending on what's in there. And the next movie on this list is The Meg. So once again, this is kind of like a Jaws situation where the movie is relatively popular, and it was based on a book that was seemingly pretty popular, but people kind of know the movie more. And the book for The Meg was simply titled Meg, a Novel of Deep Sea Terror, or something along those lines. And it was written by Steve Alton, I believe. And it was published in 1997. And then, of course, it actually follows, or the movie actually somewhat follows the plot of the book, I imagine. Google just said that it takes some liberties, which I imagine it did. So yeah, I don't really know much about the plot. It's really just about a giant 70-foot megalodon that surfaces from the Mariana Trench or whatever, and then the human characters have to try to kill it before it eats people and stuff. So basically it's kind of like Jaws, but with a bigger shark. But this one was also based on a novel similar to Jaws. So I just thought that was pretty interesting. I have neither read the book nor seen the movie, although I have wanted to see the movie, especially since the Meg 2, The Trench or whatever it was called, came out a couple years ago. So I definitely have an interest in reading and watching The Meg, but I just have not gotten around to doing so yet. So maybe I'll do that in the future. Of course, let me know if you would want me to down in the comments below. But yeah, The Meg is also based on a book. Surprise, surprise, you probably wouldn't think this was based on a book, but it is Legally Blonde. Yes, the 2001 law comedy starring Reese Witherspoon. So, this is apparently based on a novel released in 2001 by Amanda Brown called Legally Blonde. And it seems to be like a fictionalized take of her own experience as a fashion-conscious blonde going through Stanford Law School. I have not read the book or the movie, so I'm just kind of paraphrasing what Google's telling me. But so yeah, it seems to be based on Amanda's like a real life experiences trying to become a blonde lawyer, but in a more fictionalized way. But yeah, I just thought that was pretty interesting. It also seems that there are like more books in the series of Legally Blonde. I don't know if they're like Legally Blonde 2 or anything like the movie suggests. But there's like a couple different Elle Woods books, and she's the main character of Legally Blonde. There's also a book called Vote Blonde, which is probably like her running for president or something. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, Legally Blonde is also based on a book, and it also became a musical, which appears to be popular. So that's another interesting tidbit there. But yeah. I just really have not seen any of these movies or read these books. I tell you, the only one I've done is like Mean Girls. That's so funny. So this next book on the list, surprise, surprise, is a children's novel that was adapted into a Disney film. It is The Parent Trap. So The Parent Trap was written by, I just forgot his name for some reason. But anyway, it was published in 1946, or sorry, not 1946, 1949. So it is definitely one of the older ones on here, similar to Mary Poppins. But yet it basically follows two identical twins who are separated from birth, trying to get their parents to like get back together and fall in love and stuff. And so this was actually turned into a 1961 movie that had a 1986 sequel. But, I mean, such as myself, I think we know it more from the Lindsay Lohan-led 1998 remake that Disney made. Again, I haven't seen all of this movie. I've seen, like, parts of it here and there, so I know the general plot. But anyway, so yeah, in case you were wondering, The Parent Trap is also based on a book. And the next book on our list, movie that was based on a book on our list is Goodfellas. Yes, the famous 90s crime film directed by Martin Scorsese. So, Goodfellas was actually based on the 1986 novel Wise Guy by someone Pileggi, I believe. And I don't remember his first name, unfortunately. I don't know, I'm trying, guys. Anyway, so apparently this is a true crime book following the life of Henry Hill, I believe his name is, chronicling his life and fall in the mafia. And so it's kind of like journalistic, I guess. So it seems to be true crime. And then, of course, Martin Scorsese turned it into the 1990 movie Goodfellas. Now, I have not read Wise Guy. In fact, I think the only like mafia book I've ever read was The Godfather, which I wasn't even too keen on. And the 9th movie on this list is Scarface. So you can kind of take your pick with Scarface because most people know the 1983 Brian De Palma directed Scarface, which is actually a remake of the like 32 or 33 Scarface. And both of those were based on the novel by Armitage Trail called Scarface. It was published in 1930, making it officially the oldest book that I've covered in this series, I believe. And anyway, it basically is like a fictionalized version of like Al Capone's rise in San Francisco or wherever he was. I'm pretty sure it was San Francisco. He was in Alcatraz for a reason, which is off the coast of San Francisco, in case you didn't know. But anyway, looks like our main character is Tony Camonte or something. And then it's just kind of his rise as a like mafia gang leader and stuff. Again, I haven't read Scarface because The Godfather was really the only like mafia book I've read, and as I said, I wasn't too keen on that one. But I have not seen either of the movies. I know that they both exist, though. I am aware that the '83 movie is more popular, but that one just doesn't seem to be accurate to the book in the slightest. You guessed it, we have another classic Disney movie that was based on a comedic children's novel. It is Freaky Friday. Yes, this one was also based on a book. This was probably like a 60s or 70s novel written by Mary Rogers about a girl named Annabelle who wakes up one day to find out that she has swapped bodies with her mother, and then, you know, hijinks ensue from there. I'm sure you've all seen at least one of the movies. It was adapted into several movies, actually. There was a recent one in 2018 that was a Disney Channel original. There was the original one in like 1976 or so with the girl from Silence of the Lambs. I cannot remember names today. Jodie Foster, that's her name. And then, of course, probably the most famous one, which is the one I saw actually, was the 2003 movie starring Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. In fact, that one even got a sequel just last year, which I have not seen, but I did see the first one. It was pretty good. And so anyway, I seem to notice a pattern here is that Disney takes a lot of like children's novels and then turns them into movies. It's like they always take from stories, but I didn't realize just how many like books they took movie ideas from. It's like kind of insane, actually. I knew Disney was creatively bankrupt, but not this creatively bankrupt. But anyway, so yeah, Freaky Friday is kind of a very interesting one. I haven't seen the movie in a few years. I saw it for the first time back in 6th grade, and then I think I saw it again a couple years later, like 8th grade or 9th grade or something. So it's been a little bit since I've seen it, but I generally remember the plot. But yeah, it just seems very fun. And of course, since I have seen that movie, I would want to check out the book as well. And I'm sure that you all would want to as well. But anyway, so yeah, for the final book on this list, and possibly in this entire series, is Freaky Friday. So guys, those were the 10 movies I just wanted to discuss today. How did you feel about them? I certainly knew that almost none of these were based on books. I mean, I had an idea for maybe some of them, but a lot of them I just had no idea were based on books at all. And I do just want to put something on the end here. I forgot to mention this for the Freaky Friday section, but Freaky Friday actually has 2 sequels, or at least the book does. The first one is Billions for Boris, and the second one is Freaky Friday again, I believe. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of interesting, and I wanted to mention those sequels. So that one's also a series similar to Mary Poppins. But anyway, yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this video. Did any of these surprise you? Did none of these surprise you? And then, of course, leave me some movies that I didn't mention that you know are based off of books. I of course, love reading your comments and interacting with you guys. You all know this by now. But anyway, yeah, so that is the end for the series, at least for now. I will consider making more parts if you guys, of course, want to see it and give me more ideas that I did not mention in my previous videos. But anyway, yeah, now I leave it off to you guys. Comment anything you want down there about books or movies that originated from books and stuff. And yeah, anyway, that is it from me. I've been Mr. BG. This has been BG's Books, and I will see you guys in the next video.